Okay, so now I want to talk about the ongoing debate surrounding philosopher and mathematicians as to whether we can answer that math in itself is an invention or a discovery by mankind. So, myself, I have an answer to this sort of debate of question to whether math is invented or discovered. So, math, in its actuality, is only our own intuition to how we manage to structure reality surrounding us. So how do we answer that? How do I can tell you this is all sort of like a intuition? So imagine there is a point A and point B, which sort of tells you a distance. Or no, this is only a point. Point in a space B. So how do we can make these 2 points much more meaningful in a way that we can sort of like connect these 2 points, or we can see those 2 points as somewhat have a relation, a structural relation to how reality operates. So the first thing is we draw a line between these 2 points. So this line in itself contains a structural geometry to how we intuit the realities running us. So how do we can measure now the distance between A and B? So we need to create symbols, symbols such as 1, for example, and 2. So if we being asked to what is the distance between A and B, the answer is 1. But now we don't have any actual parameters, but that's just besides the point of physics. I'm I'm talking about this in a much more metaphysical sense, that if we want to structure how any point in time or anything to have such a relations, we need to have sort of like intuition to how we see those. So in such a way, mathematics offers us this kind of structure that we that our intuition provides to see things in general. So what I see, or what I think of mathematics, whether it is invented or discovered, is that no, it is not both. It is in such way being given to us as sort of like how we can see reality to our own understanding. So when we perceive things, to to make those things have such a meaningful way to us, to be able for us to understand, we need to have a structure. We need to have a structure which relates to some kind of relations uh, between those variables that we perceive, those objects. So I think is that math in such way is just an objective intuition to how we manage to see reality around us. So it is, at some point, it is not an invention in which we create out of nowhere, but in such way it is a given perception, no, a given kind of understanding, or a given kind of framework. Sorry, it's a framework to how we understand realities running us. So math, in a way, is not invented or discovered. It is how our mind operates, how our framework behave to map out the possible reality surrounding us. So that's my answer to whether math is invented or discovered. So if we dig deeper to the arguments of, say, a mathematicians, which they found many new things, many crazy things about mathematics, like Poincare conjecture and so on. The thing is that the structure in uh, it's there that we have on a sort of intuition to it, like the structure of numbers to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the structure of this series, this number series. This is just a mapping to or mapping to reality. So what I see is that when they see this series in such way as a thing in itself, as a 1, 2, or 3, as a different kind of parameter or framework, they see new things in which it becomes object of discovery, in which it can be really helpful for any of us to sort of map the possible reality that we offer. So, no. If we take out the meanings or understanding of this conjecture of mathematics, it is not a discovery per se, but it is just how there is a structure in reality that we kind of like found, in which we manage to understand it in a much more metaphysical terms, in mathematical terms, by numbers. Especially like if you know about the prime numbers, like their functions, in which we found many new things every day about this kind of numbers. It is not a discovery. It is just that I don't know. What I mean is, it is not a discovery that say that numbers in itself is just an object, but no, it is just how there is a reality surrounding us that includes that there's that a inherent fact about that, in which we understand that in much more number or mathematical variables term. It is not in that we see things like how Newton find gravity by apples dropping in his head. No, dropping his head, but rather we found a new formula, not formula, a new kind of uh, I don't know say thing in reality, in which it expressed or it's represented by the numbers that we use to map the realities running us. So if we found in, like, for example, the quantum mechanics, you know, let's say a Schrodinger equation or anything like the needs of, say, imaginary numbers. The imaginary numbers itself is not an object, but it is only a framework to which our reality maps out in such way that we map that in that kind of number. So it's not that there is a that these numbers or these number relations per se is we discover that by a sense, but we translate our findings of reality to number terms or mathematical terms. So that's, I think, my answer to whether math is invented or discovered. Thank you very much.